Hey guys, in this episode we're going to talk about the film The First Purge. We're going to talk about how it stands up to the prior three films and just give you our thoughts overall on the newest installment of this franchise. This is episode 55 of the Reel-ists podcast. Hey everyone,
welcome
to the Reel-ists podcast. I'm your host, Donnie.
And I'm Oscar.
My co-host, Oscar, over there. And no, I'm just kidding.
Dang.
Just kidding. And we have our amazing producer, Ruben, here. Hello. And we are here to talk about a film. But before we get into that, we're just going to give a couple of quick reminders. First off, I want to thank all of our listeners for listening to us and want to ask that you guys continue to spread the word on our podcast. Let all your friends know, all your family members know, all your coworkers know, everybody you know, your mailman, your milkman, your tech, your computer tech guy,
your IT,
your mechanic, everyone about the Reel-ists podcast. Remember, we're on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at Team Reel-ists. Team Reel-ists, no dash, and we are available everywhere where podcasts are available. And what else? What else, Oscar?
In terms of where they can social medias?
No. I just mean, like, do we have any? Well, sure. I mean, yeah, if you want to add, but
I mean, yes. Team Reel-ists, Team Reel-ists.
I already said that.
I know, but you kind of. I was like, well, there's nothing else to say. No, I do want to just quickly say thank you to everyone that participated in the Clap It app and supporting my video, my audition take. There's still some time, so if you're listening to it and you haven't done so, please do so. But if not, I appreciate all the kindness that everyone has participated with. We'll see. I don't know what the outcome is. I don't know if I'm going to be selected, but we shall see.
Awesome.
And it's only for iOS devices. I didn't know. I didn't realize that until the end of the recording. But yeah, sorry, Android users. It's not me. It's the app. It's the company.
App. Yeah.
It's Clap It.
But we still appreciate all the support.
Yes.
You guys are awesome. So I guess we can just get right into our not review, but our discussion for The First Purge.
Did you say it was a spoiler?
Huh?
You haven't said it's a spoiler, right?
No, I did not.
Okay. I just want to.
It's a spoiler.
I was going to be like, this is not a test. This is your emergency broadcast system announcing the beginning of spoiler review discussion of The First Purge.
We should have talked about that. That would have been nice.
Spoilers of class 4 or above is not allowed.
Are not illegal. To push the crime rate below 1% for the rest of the year, the new founding fathers of America test a sociological theory that vents aggression for one night in one isolated community. But when the violence of oppressors meets the rage of the others, the contagion will explode from the Tri-City borders and spread across the nation.
I feel like that was like your push to become mayor.
That's a weird description.
That was
like intense.
That was at IMDb?
That was Google.
That sounds about Google. Get the IMDb.
I know. So The First Purge. So this is the fourth installment in the Purge franchise.
I would like to consider it the third, but yeah, the fourth.
Why?
Because the first one was like not. It was like the movie was not intended to be everything that it is now. It was more of just like, in this war, they have a one night that they're free, so this family is being invaded by these people that don't have to worry about being caught. So it's kind of like
it was more about like, yeah.
It was like, like that situation, like the Twilight Zone kind of thing, or what's another show that kind of does those
Black Mirror.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. So it was that kind of concept before it became like exactly about like how to survive the night and what happens in this night. So it's kind of just like, it would be like a spin-off if it was made later. Mm-hmm. But since it was first, it's the first. But I like to consider it's like it's like the third, but yes, it is the fourth. Right. Officially.
So what were your initial thoughts? Because mines weren't that great. I'm not going to lie.
Dang. No, yeah, I really just didn't like the disconnect from the franchise. I understood what they were trying to go for into showing how it came about. but I don't think that was necessarily necessary for this. Only because it was still going to be the exact same premise of people put in this spot. They're not interested in this. They just want to survive. But yet, here they go, and they have to survive the night. And a lot of it kind of was like things we already kind of felt were part of it based off how the other movies talked about it. Like, we knew the government always had a hand in this, that it wasn't always as clear as it's people just, actually committing their crimes. So we kind of knew a lot of these things. I don't think there's anything that was really added new to it other than new characters that we kind of met. But we don't even know if they even make it past anything because we don't see them in any of the other franchises. So that's kind of why I feel like it was a disconnect in that sense. It was a very standalone, but I feel like it was just another night, but it didn't have an impact. So it was entertaining for what it was, but it was not. I was not satisfied overall in the end. I was kind of just like, I was expecting all this, I got all this, but nothing more, and that's disappointing sometimes. So that's kind of my quick thoughts of that.
I did find the IMBD one, which is way better. After the rise of a third political party, the new founding fathers of America, an experiment is conducted. No laws for 12 hours on Staten Island. No one must stay during the experiment. Yet there is $5,000 for anyone who does. That one was a little more
relevant,
clear, a little more.
The other one felt like like marketing.
I know, right? All right. So the First Purge. Let's see. The first film, like you said, it kind of opens you up to the idea of there is this society where they purge for one night. So you're like getting the concept of what it is. And then the second and third films, they do a really good job, I think, of exploring kind of
the politics
behind it, and even dive into like how it affects the economy, how they kind of look at it from like a economical standpoint, and try to use it as a what's that called when you try to like keep the number of people down, like ration. Isn't there a word for that?
Population?
Like, I guess population control.
Yeah.
I feel like there was another term for it, but they look at it like from that standpoint, and then the second and third one, it kind of also really talks about, what is it? The NNHA, the NNFA,
the New Founding Fathers of America, the NFFA.
Yeah, the NFFA, and they talk about how the NFFA kind of uses the purge to target the lower income communities, or the working class,
right,
and the lower class communities, and how it's kind of beneficial to the upper class. And that's interesting, and really, just looking at it from that lens, it's really interesting. Because the first one, you don't get any of that. You just get that. You just know that there is a purge, and then the second and third one kind of explore those topics a little more. My problem with this film is I feel like they took that, like, oh, let's talk about how it's can help the economy, and how it targets the lower income families and the working class families and those communities. And I feel like that was the main focus, and how it's basically the NFFA is only targeting lower income communities or minorities, and basically like if you're rich and white, you don't have to worry about it. And I get making that point is fine, but I feel like that was just so blaring throughout the whole film, and how it was like just kind of, I felt like there was just such a like.
There was a lot of symbolism too, throughout the films, like the KKK, the Nazi references. Like there was a lot of those kinds of symbolism, things that we always associate with in terms of racism and hatred and all that stuff. So I can definitely see where you're coming from in that.
And sense. I just feel like it was I feel like this film was just very targeted to that community. Like that's what it feels like. Like when even in the trailer, when one of the guys is like, we have to go and protect these people from a government who doesn't give a damn about us, and even that's so relevant because you have those people, like people that say that really believe that, and there's that whole discussion. But I just feel like it was so targeted to like a specific community, and it just really felt like propaganda to me. Like it didn't even feel like, I know it's a movie, but I felt like there was some ulterior motive for this film.
You could probably say that for the for the other ones. Maybe the first one's the only one that didn't have any.
I feel like the second and third one kind of had it, but I feel like it wasn't. I mean, it was there, but I feel like they just like upped the ante with it for this one.
Probably, and I mean,
I wasn't like
to it was make the Donald Trump like references, and the marketing was that kind of satire to what's currently going on with.
And I just didn't care for that. Like, I mean, and I'm sure some people loved it and was like, oh my god, I love that they're using like what's going on today and it's kind of mirroring it in the film, and maybe that's fine. But I personally didn't do much for me in that aspect.
The overall theme of that probably isn't necessarily the too much of a big problem, but I think that the story just didn't provide anything that made you want to enjoy what was going on the screen. I can see that, but it's kind of, to me, the problem lies more so in what was the point of telling this specific First Purge. In the sense that we kind of, I mean, at least based off the other movies, you kind of understood that yes, it was never as like fair in terms of what the situation was or who was taking advantage of it, who was benefiting from it. You never really had any trust with the new founding fathers and their that agency. It was a lot of things that you always kind of had that awareness of, but this just kind of confirmed it. But it confirmed it not necessarily in a way that was like satisfying to me. It just was like, thanks for confirming that yes, this was actually based off of a lie, and this was actually based off of false impressions and marketing and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So that's where the first problem to me starts with, and then the characters. The characters to me they try to develop these characters in ways that you rooted for them, but they didn't start off with characters you wanted to root for. Mm-hmm. And you had the leader of that gang, who Dimitri, who's starting off with like he's just doing his job, he's just surviving, he's just making his money, who had a 360 turnaround where he's like, now I want to defend everyone.
Yeah.
But it didn't feel like that was, and it didn't change, like nothing in the movie changed that perception other than people were attacking the city and he got mad. But like he was in his place the entire time. And then people come in, or two girls come in that were paid by one of his members that try to kill him, and that sets him off to go out and about, and that's when he starts to see everything, and that's when he decides to take action. So it's kind of like, if it wasn't for that, you would have remained indoors, and your development would have stopped there.
Yeah, it wouldn't have happened.
Right, so it's like you were only mad from your former member. Like, unless you were mad at the whole idea that your own members are betraying you because of this purge, being a possibility that they can betray you, I can see that. But I just felt like he just went this whole like hero route when he didn't feel like a hero from the beginning. Like, he didn't feel like he was going to be someone that was going to be defending. He felt like it was going to be more of like, I'm not participating in this, but I'm still making my money out of it kind of situation. Unlike the characters from the previous films where they had like a goal, but their goal wasn't, to save everyone. They just happened to be caught up in a situation where they
ended up helping save people.
They ended up being a group, and they ended up going. Well, this one just like, he was like, I'm gonna go take down everyone. I know how to take them down. He lost his crew members up until the last scene or the last act, and it was only specifically to save
Naya
and her brother, mm-hmm. and whoever was there with them. So I just feel like the story wasn't clear on what we were wanting to take away. Were we supposed to take away that the purge was all a lie and that it's actually not helping us at all, but the higher ups government wanted to just get a clean slate, or wanted to find a way to get rid of some loose ends kind of thing? Or was it more of we're learning about like how people can change in a society where they feel like they're being attacked and have to unite? Like, I didn't get what their message was.
Yeah.
The other two purges were more of surviving the night and getting themselves caught in the whole like political mess and getting caught with people that are important to the purge. Well, this one just felt like it was more of, it wasn't even an experiment. It felt like it was just another night. It felt like this was not the first night in that way. Mm-hmm. So that's where my problems are. I know that was like an in-depth
yeah, you had a lot to say there.
description about that, but
no, I mean, I totally get it too. And I was like, I mean, I was right there with you. Like, what what's the takeaway from this film? Because it's like, regardless of what we're gonna watch for the next hour and a half, we know that the purge ends up happening. Like, we know it becomes a thing. Like, there are 3 films that we just watched that show us the purge was happening, and so it's like it's never. I mean, it's never like, oh, because one of the plot points in this film is like, they're really trying to gauge if this purge will work, like if enough participation will happen to where that where the NFFA will be like, sweet, let's continue with it, or the department or whoever, let's continue with it, let's make it a national thing, not just Staten Island.
And then 1/3 of that was that exact thing, and then they find out like, oh, this isn't happening the way it was supposed to. We have to make this happen, so we're going to send in people
from the NFFA
and kill
make
the
it look like they're normal citizens, but have them to kind of like amp it up and get more people participating, and not even that, but just to like, so like, I guess they have it on film, so like news cameras can see that it looks like people are participating.
Right.
Really,
I feel like this would have been a better movie had it been the struggle that the NFFA had to get it going. Like, it would have been nice to see that they almost didn't get it going, but one person just missed, a target or something in the regards that they barely got the purge to go to succeed, to make it happen. Something like that, because we knew, as you said, we knew it was going to happen. We knew, based off the other movies, that the purge was going to be a thing. So it would have been nice to see that maybe it was almost not a thing, but surprise twist, something happens that causes it to happen. Mm-hmm. Like, maybe, the entire time it's like, oh, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Oh, it's actually, they're going to win. And someone kills someone and they get mad and they say, yes, make it go through. Or something, something that would have been like, oh, I see why it started. But this one
I guess that was kind of supposed to be the twist, like finding out that it's the NFFA's members that are going out and purging to make it look like the participation is high.
But that's already been the plot from the second one, where you saw trained people, government people, hired people to go and kill specific targets.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's just like, it's nothing, it didn't bring anything new. It was just another night, which is fine in the sense of like, we do enjoy the night that takes place, at the purge, because people get crazy, you see crazy things. But I don't necessarily think it needed to be the first night. Mm-hmm. It could have been maybe just maybe, I don't know how many years. Did they say how many years it was going before the second one started, or even the first one?
I don't know, actually, to be honest.
That would be some interesting if there was some time there, or even a follow up. Maybe the senator, or not senator, president, the new president that got elected in the third one, was trying to end it, and maybe they did a twist where they decided to,
or maybe because remember the president in the third one, the Charlie, I think was her name, right?
Yeah.
The reason she ran for presidency and wanted to take down the purge or end the purge was because she was forced to witness the murder of her family on a purge night.
Right.
So that would have been nice to tie that back into this film, and maybe we see that night when Charlie lost her family.
That could have been the first night. Yeah.
That would have been like a really great thing to do right there.
That would have been some nice way to tie it. Because like for me, yes, the first one was a home invasion, but there was one character that had a role in the second one, and it grew in the third one. So like they expanded on that person. This one just was like so isolated that none of these characters we've seen in any of the other movies. Mm-hmm. So it's like we don't know what their fate is.
Or Frank Grillo, like he lost his son. That's when he decided to start purging.
Yeah,
so we could have seen how he lost his son, or seen a little bit of like
those would have been nice.
Little nice things.
Because that would have been like, oh, so that ties into the other one, and
right.
That would make sense. That would give it like a full circle as to these characters that we're investing in, compared to what we just saw of just another night. This was just, I mean, I know they marketed it as the first, but it felt like it was just another night. Like this was like second, third year. Wouldn't have made a difference.
Yeah, it didn't. No, absolutely, I agree.
Because none of them were trying to stop this from happening. Like the entire purge was set to happen. So I think that's probably where the problem lied, is that they had this movie set where it was going to happen, rather than they're trying to make it happen, and maybe it doesn't go through, but it ends up falling through. Yeah, so that was kind of it. But as a movie itself, not in necessarily criticizing like how it should have been done, but for what we did get, it was entertaining to the degree of, we just wanted to see what happened. There were some like interesting characters. There was that one crazy guy who was just like really obsessed with killing. He felt like he needed to be cleansed.
Yeah, his name was Skeletor.
That's
copyright,
but okay.
He was annoying, to be honest.
Yeah,
he was crazy,
but it was interesting. He was something that you expect with the Purge, and that's what kind of interests you to see those crazy people. Mm-hmm. But a lot of it was very common. You know, you had the one tough guy. You had the family. And that's
like the other problem I had with this film. Like there was like all these archetypes. There were all these like cliche characters that we've seen before. You had like Naya, the really strong-willed, opinionated, one who was going to take a stand against the Purge and fight. And she was great, and I loved her. She was my favorite in the film. Like, I really liked her. I think the actress did a good job with that character. I just don't think the characters got to develop the way they should have. You had, like, the younger brother who was... she was trying to he was struggling between trying to
doing what's right
and trying to get some extra money because they were struggling. You had the good guy, Dimitri, who was and it's like, if you were he ended up being a really good guy, but it's like, if you were such a good guy, why did you even end up selling drugs and doing all this stuff in the first place?
Right. But because it wasn't like they started off the movie with him, not in the sense of he was conflicted. He was like, oh, I don't want to do this, but I had no choice. I have to do this for the greater good.
Right. He was just like, it didn't seem to have a problem with it. Like what he was doing, like he was, this is my moneymaker. So yeah, and to me, like Nia's brother, it was kind of just more of like, you really are just making reckless choices, and that's fine in a movie for us to, learn with you, watch you grow and all that kind of stuff. But I just don't feel like he did. I feel like at the end of the day, he just got saved, or he just didn't get in trouble, like that kind of like, like he got an easy cop out, and his sister saved him, and that was it. Like I didn't feel like he really decided to grow from his situation of like, you know what, maybe this was a bad choice, maybe I should listen to my sister, or maybe this purge is not the right choice, or maybe killing is not the right choice. I didn't feel like any of that was concluded to him. I just feel like he got saved by his sister, and he would do it again until so that's kind of my problem with it. I just feel like this movie, it should have been thought of, what's the purpose of telling the story aside from, oh, this was the first night. Well, what makes the first night special compared to the second night? And I do one of the things I did like was you got to see
the psychiatrist who
who developed it, and kind of she said it's a psychological experiment, and that I know they said we need to cleanse ourselves, and like all of our anger and frustrations, we can release it in one night.
But it would have been nice to see people countering that, having the actual debate on the screen of saying, no, it's not. Why do you think that?
Like, why do we have to purge to do that? Why can't we do something more, less destructive?
Why can't we find, why can't creative outlets as sports and hobbies be that kind of source to cleanse or something?
There could have been more
of the politics
debate
side of that.
Yeah, more like, should we?
Reasons why it should have been created. Like, to me, this should just been...
Or maybe, I even think it would have been more interesting if Marissa Tomei, she was a psychologist who created this experiment. It would have been interesting.
That was her.
Yeah. You were like, oh, she looks familiar.
Yeah, but the hair was like, I guess just the hair kind of threw me off. Oh, she's not me. That's good to know.
Yeah. In the new Spider-Man film.
Yes.
But yeah, it would have been interesting to even see her whole thought process to how she came to deciding that the Purge would be a great outlet, or how maybe she's doing a research job, and maybe there's people are talking about, oh, how can we help our country, and then maybe she kind of I don't know, she does it's just something to show how she got to let's do the Purge. Even that would have been interesting.
Or even not killing her off, though. Even if they're like, we're going to kill you off, and they send her in, and maybe she just survives, or she doesn't get shot and she escapes, then it would have been nice to see her being like, this is what I caused. This is my fault.
Look what I've done.
Hey guys, if I get out of this, I will stop it. I will put in my 2 cents or stopping it.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. That would have been another angle of oh, if she survives this, they will stop the Purge.
Mm-hmm.
So something, again, that goes back to this was just this pretty much could have been called, the Purge another night, another year. There was no
tie to,
other than that, this was the official start, but
it didn't feel like it.
Everything that they try to bring as a twist has already been played in the other movie. So it was like, well, what was the big twist? And the psychologist who came up with this would have been the twist for them. Would have been that new element of, oh, well, the person that started this actually realized it was a bad idea and she teamed up with the bad people, but she didn't survive the night because she was thrown in there or something like that. Something that would have gave us reasoning into that. So that would have been interesting. But
I also, and I don't mean to keep bringing up all the problems I have with the film, but I just want to say I also don't find it realistic that if you're telling me, if you're saying, say I'm a citizen on Staten Island and they're saying, okay, guys, for one night, we're going to let all crime be legal, murder, everything be legal. I can't imagine that many people would have stayed on Staten Island and not have just gone somewhere for the night, gone to like relative's house and, you know, over the bridge, or like, I don't know, go like, oh, you know, okay, we're just going to leave town for this weekend or something.
Aside from the money incentive.
But
well, because you don't know how it's going to play out. You don't know if it can be like, well, maybe if I stay in my apartment and I don't go out, I won't have any problems.
No, I wouldn't think like that. I'm like, if you're telling me murder is legal, like anybody can break into my apartment and kill me, and I'm sure word would get out too, like, hey, they're paying people if you participate in Purge Night. Sure. So like, I'm sure by the time the Purge Night started, everyone would like know, like, hey, the purgers are out. They're like trying to make money, so they're gonna do whatever they can to make this money. So then that would really be, I would really be like, you know what? Nope, I'm gone. I'm going out. I'm leaving, going somewhere else.
True.
I don't know.
I mean, but as a movie itself, what was given to us? I know we're doing a lot of what ifs and what, you know, alternative what.
You know, we're pretty nice when it comes to our podcast, and we're pretty forgiving about films, and but you know, we gotta keep it real. Like honestly, this film just didn't do it for me. I left a little more irritated. I'm sorry, and I do love the second and the third Purge films.
Yeah,
I think it's a really cool, unique franchise and really entertaining. But this one just didn't do it for me.
Which is fair, absolutely. Which is fair. But yeah, I think it was actually the director's first movie, so that was very good. Good directing for me. I don't think the movie itself, like how it's filmed and how it progressed and the pace of it, I don't think none of that.
I don't think that was a problem. I just think it was like the script and
it was a story. I think the structure, the script was not like they were saying too many cliche like lines or one-liners, but it was more of the story structure was not.
Yeah, I didn't mean unique. Like the script, like the dialogue. I meant what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just, and it was not a unique enough plot that separated from the other films or exceeded the other films.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that is unfortunate. So it is what it is, right?
Right.
But yeah. So did you have any particular scene that stood out still?
I did like.
I mean, I will say, despite Dimitri being the hero all of a sudden, I did like the apartment scenes where he like literally went into each row, and because it felt very comic booky, Captain America, Batman kind of style. Yeah,
it did feel very action film, like superhero
trying to take down each row.
Yeah,
for the bad guys.
I did. Yeah, and not to like jump on your answer, but like,
but I'm jumping on.
Let me jump on your answer. I did like that. It was cool. I was really, you know, you really hated the guy. One of the NFFA members.
The one that was overseeing everything?
Yeah. You really hated him and you really wanted him to die.
Nothing happened.
You know, I was like just rooting for Dimitri to just not get killed and for him to, you know, just take out all these people and to save Naya and the brother and Dolores. And
that was another. I mean,
I really did like Dolores as a character. She brought the comic relief.
She brought a very realistic comic relief.
Yeah, it was very like, it doesn't seem like it. Maybe like she improv'd some of her lines. Like
possibly.
It seemed, like that wouldn't surprise me. It didn't seem super scripted or anything. It came off really just organic, and she has like good like comedic timing. I think that was like one of the standouts for this film was her character specifically, and she didn't get a ton of screen time, but I think when she did, it was spot on.
I wanted to point out too as well. This thing about it, the realistic part of them like throwing a bomb and surviving that bomb's explosion by staying in the closet or
under the mattress.
I was like, I don't know if that's movie magic or if that's realistic. I was watching that part. I remember that scene. I was just like, so are you telling me if I'm ever in an explosion to use a mattress? Like, I know a mattress would cover a big portion of the blow, but wouldn't it, like, the flames go over around the mattress and still, like, come under?
I mean, I don't know how that would work, but I mean, there were definitely some, like, movie magic things or, like, just plot conveniences. Like, when they were barricaded in the apartment and then Skeletor came, like, right before they were about to shoot, Skeletor came and started, like, kind of unknowingly causing a divergent, you know?
Yes.
So, which bought them more time. So, there were a couple things like that where I'm like, all right, that really wouldn't happen. But, you know, that's fine.
I think the characters, for the most part, were making choices that were kind of in the mixture of, would you realistically make that choice, or are you just making that because you're in a movie kind of choice? They had that mix too as well. I noticed that a lot of choices were just kind of like the part that to me that's sticking in my mind was the three I don't know if I guess they were friends, but they were three older gentlemen who were like,
oh yeah,
they were like staking out at their place, that one location. I don't know what it was because it didn't seem like it was a house. Yeah. Well, no, I think it was a house, but it felt like a community house. But they were there and they were like losing, and they were just like, "We're gonna die together, guys."
Yeah, and then Dimitri and his crew come and basically save them.
And they were just like all grateful and kind of like showing respect to them. I was kind of like, I'm trying to think, like, at what point do you stay at that house and do you not try to leave? Like, do you not try to run? Like, I get trying to stand your ground, but if you feel like you're outnumbered or your crew is dying, don't really have like let's retreat, let's get out of this place and find another secure place.
Yeah.
So like the things like that just come to mind where I was like, or Dimitri's, a lot of his choices were like action hero choices that you kind of just like, realistically, would you go into an apartment that has all these military level soldiers
and try to take them out, like try to take them all on? Like, you're just
when you were just like a leader of a drug, like, you know, where like I know like when we think like, oh, if I was in a movie, I would be doing that too, but it's kind of like, realistically, would you be actually doing these choices?
I'd be running as fast as I could away from the apartment.
You wouldn't have been in the Purge.
No, I'm telling you, I wouldn't have been in Staten Island. I would have been in California.
They did try to make that like psychology like mindset with like the interviews before the Purge started, or I think it was technically after. Mm-hmm. Was it before?
No, it was before. They were kind of pre-screening them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
To get some actual thoughts of people. Mm-hmm. That was nice. Should have followed up with them thoughts afterwards. Although
that would have been cool too.
Died.
Yeah, that's true. But like, if they would have found, you know, a couple and been like, so you did Purge, we saw, you know, and they showed some footage of what they did and how do you feel? And
that would have been cool.
That would have been interesting.
I think this movie was more of like what they should have done.
Yeah, I feel like they just missed a lot of opportunities that they could have done. But, you know, I mean, it is what it is, and who knows?
But now there's a show.
Yeah, like little on USA, right?
Yeah, USA.
So that'll be. I mean, I'm curious. I want to check it out and see what it, you know.
If it's gonna be more of this movie.
If it's more like this one, then I'm probably not gonna watch it. If it's more like the second and third one,
because I know it's a 10 episode season, one order. I don't know if it's following a night. From my understanding, it's not. It's everything around the one night. Like all the drama that happens before it takes place and all the
everything
drama
that happens after. That would be that. See, that piques my interest.
From my understanding,
because I'm always like, okay, so what about the day after the Purge? All the destruction that's happened, all the property damage, all the vandalism, like how, you know, in cities, like who has to clean that up, and where's that money to pay for all that stuff coming from, and you know, it gets my thoughts going. So that's interesting. From
my understanding, that's what this TV series was going to be about. I don't know if I'm accurate on that one, but if that is the case, yes, I definitely would be interested in that situation. Or maybe, sure. But I feel like that was in the early stages. I don't know where I heard that, but otherwise it would either be that or it's another night.
Okay, so we're not confirmed. Nothing's confirmed here. We're just okay. Sweet. Well, Oscar, what would you give this film, The First Purge, real score?
I would give it I'll say a 2.5, because there were still some aspects that were enjoyable. Again, it's the thrill of surviving the night, so it's like a very common horror feel to it where you do want to see how things play out and who survives and all that stuff. That is entertaining to it. But the lack of story, the subpar character development and those kind of factors do play heavily in the negative outlook of the movie, and a lot of questionable choices that were made for this film lead to that 2.5 score. But it was a nice, there was nice scraps of this film. Yeah.
Okay. I'd give it a 2 out of 5.
Ooh, is that your lowest? Is that?
No, I feel like
because Ruben's the only one that's gone low. That's gone
1.
That's gone 1.5 for Red Sparrow.
Didn't we? Oh no, maybe we. I was gonna say, what did we give Acrimony? But I think we gave it a higher score for the performance by Taraji P. Henson and not the film itself. But anyways, I do give it a 2.
We need someone to keep track of these scores for us.
I know, we should just like compile a list and have them.
We should have a website. Why do we not have a website? That's funny. That's true. That's true. Yeah. Coming soon, guys. We're gonna have a website that's just gonna post a big letter grade from us. That would be fun.
That would actually be a good idea.
Yeah, you can just click on like reviews, and then you see like the posters for each movie, and you see
and then
it says
grade.
Donnie 2.5, Oscar 2.5,
yeah,
4, 5. That would be cool.
Not a bad idea.
Oh, I got some time. Continue.
Back to my. Can I finish my real score? Anything else you want to add?
You did that to me earlier today, but yes, go ahead. Sorry, one more. 2.0. Why?
2.0. What do you mean I did that to you earlier?
We were at dinner.
You did that to me. What do you mean? I didn't do that to you.
That was
you
me.
You trying to throw the blame on me? I'll tell you did that to me.
That's right.
You got some nerve. The audacity of this guy. Anyways, I give it a 2.0 or 2 out of 5 for many of the reasons you said. I mean, for what it was entertaining, and it, you know, from the trailer, it's not like I was going in expecting like, you know, an Academy Award nominee for 2019. Like I you know, I knew it was going to be like a kind of like home invasion feel to it, you know, just trying to survive the night again. And it was, you know, and it had some interesting, you know, they're trying to tie in like how, like more of the psychological aspect to the Purge and why it was created, and you know, that part was kind of interesting. And the characters themselves, I mean, the actors themselves, I think, did a good job with material they were given. So, but you know, ultimately, I feel like it missed a lot of opportunities to do something that could have elevated this film overall. So, for those reasons, that's why I give it a 2 out of 5. But you know, it wasn't the worst film I've ever seen. So,
okay,
I guess that's good. But listeners, we want to know what you guys thought about this film, so definitely share your thoughts. Let us know if you loved it, if it's everything you thought it would be, or if you left disappointed. And also, if you've watched any of the other Purge films, let us know which one is your favorite. I can tell you that mine and Oscar's favorite is the second one.
That is correct.
That's the Purge Anarchy, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And then the Purge Election Year, the third one, is our second favorite. Correct, also.
So what does this one rank? Does this one surpass the first Purge, or do you put this below the first Purge?
I'd put it, you know, it's been so long since I've seen the first Purge. I'd have to rewatch. I'd have to like go back and watch it, because I remember the first one was slow.
It's because it was a home invasion. Like it wasn't anything related to what we've seen from the last 3 movies. So it's kind of just like its own separate spin-off, but it was the first one, so it's not a spin-off. That's based off of the thrills and everything I got. I think I would put it above the first Purge.
Okay.
So I think it would be the first Purge, the Purge Election Year, and the Purge Anarchy.
Okay. Well, I'll have to go back and rewatch the first one, or at least some of it. So I'll let you guys know what I thought. I'll let you know if the first Purge is above or below the actual first Purge movie.
Hold them accountable, fans. Hold them accountable every day. So, Donnie, where's that?
We're still waiting on that answer. Where's your list?
Where's that list?
We're waiting. Oh, yeah.
Oh, you did a quick review for a new movie, but no list.
Right. So I see you went and saw Mission Impossible, but I'm still waiting on the list. I'll get back to you guys. But anyways, thank you guys so much for listening. Share your thoughts with us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We're here. We're here to listen. And
yes, absolutely.
You guys are awesome.
Appreciate it.
And thank you so much. We'll see you next time.